Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Mastering English Podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Sam.
We are here for another deep dive. And today, oh man, today we are tackling something huge.
Something that I think almost everyone feels at some point. It's this paradox.
Yes, the paradox. Okay, tell me if this sounds familiar to you listening. You work so hard. You're saving money, you're trying to get ahead, and maybe you finally get that raise you wanted.
Or you buy that thing you've been wanting for months.
Exactly. You get the thing, but
Papa.
then what? You still feel this, I don't know, this kind of restless stress in the background, like you're running on a treadmill and just can't get off.
That is precisely it. It's the treadmill of ambition. We're sort of taught to believe this. Well, this lie, really, that happiness is a destination.
Right. A place you arrive at once you have the bigger paycheck or the better job title or, I don't know, the nicer apartment.
And we keep telling ourselves, okay, when I get the next promotion, then I'll be happy. Then I can finally relax.
But that then never comes, does it? The finish line just keeps moving further and further away. It's a constantly moving goalpost.
And this whole cycle, this, constant chasing of more, it's a trap. It really is. It makes you think that your personal value, your actual joy, is somehow tied to these outside things.
These external metrics, yeah.
And if the happiness you find is like a quiet thing, just enjoying a cup of tea or watching a movie with a friend, you look at what everyone else is doing on social media and you think, oh, my joy it's too small. It doesn't count.
Well, today we are going to break down how to get out of that comparison trap. Our mission is to take a deep dive into this amazing English lesson for intermediate learners, that's B1 learners, called The Truth About Money and Happiness.
And we're not just going to summarize it. This is a deep dive. We are going to dissect the powerful words, the clever tricks in the language, and even the grammar they use to teach these huge life-changing ideas.
Because the way you say something can be just as important as what you're saying. This is perfect for B1 learners because you need words you can actually use, right? Words you can talk about your own life with, not just words on a flashcard. So we're going to focus on 5 really important vocabulary words.
And we're also going to show you a trick for structuring your sentences. It's a rhetorical device called antithetical parallelism.
Whoa, okay, that sounds very academic. Antithetical what now?
It sounds intimidating, I know.
Oh.
But it's actually super simple. And it's the key to sounding really fluent and, well, wise. It's just a fancy way of structuring a sentence like this. Money can buy X, but it cannot buy Y.
Oh, I get it. Money can buy a house, but it can't buy a home. That kind of thing.
That is the exact structure. It's so memorable, and we're going to unpack why it works so well for learning English.
And stick with us because we're going to use that exact structure in a pop quiz at the very end of this deep dive. You'll be a master by the time we're done.
For sure.
Okay, before we jump in, if you're learning English or you just love digging into big ideas, please do us a huge favor. Go ahead and subscribe to Mastering English Podcast and give this deep dive a like. It really helps us out.
It lets us know we're on the right track and helps other learners find us.
Okay, let's get into it. First things first. The way this lesson was designed, you were saying it's really smart.
It is. It's really clever. Before we even get to the content, we have to talk about the teaching strategy. The whole thing was built with something called linguistic scaffolding in mind.
Okay, there's another one of those big academic terms, linguistic scaffolding. For me and for everyone listening, break that down. What does that actually mean in, plain English?
Absolutely. No jargon, I promise. So think about a big building that's being constructed.
Okay, I'm picturing it. Lots of steel beams and cranes.
Exactly. And on the outside, they build this temporary metal frame, right? The scaffolding. It's there to support the workers while they build the real thing. It helps them reach higher than they could on their own.
Right, so they don't fall. It's a support structure.
That's all linguistic scaffolding is.
Yeah.
It's a temporary support structure for your brain. It's the support the lesson gives you to help you understand English that's just a little bit above your current level, but without making you feel overwhelmed.
So it's like perfect. It's like training wheels on a bicycle.
Perfect analogy. It's exactly like training wheels. As a B1 learner, you can understand the main points of clear speech about familiar things, like work or your hobbies.
Yeah, the basics.
So this lesson starts with a very natural B1 level story. The host, Crystal, just tells a relatable story. That's the first step. You hear all the new words and ideas in a natural context.
Oh, I see. So you hear it first, and you can kind of guess the meaning from the story itself. You're learning without even realizing you're learning?
That's the implicit learning, yes. Your brain is making connections. And then, right after the story, the lesson gives you clear explanations and vocabulary support.
Ah, so that's the explicit part. First you guess, then they tell you for sure.
And that sequence is so effective. Your brain already has an anchor for the new word. It's not just a random definition.
That makes so much sense. If I hear a new word like contentment in a story about someone feeling really good and peaceful after a simple dinner, my brain is already primed. I already have a picture for it.
Exactly. You've connected the abstract concept, contentment, to a simple concrete image, like a warm plate of food. And that brings us to another huge factor in learning, effective filter reduction.
Okay, you've got to stop with these scary psychological terms. Affective filter, what is that? Is it going to hurt?
It won't hurt, I promise. The effective filter is just your emotional barrier. It's the anxiety, the stress, the self-consciousness you feel when you're trying to speak a new
I
language.
know that feeling. It's the, oh no, am I going to make a mistake? Do I sound stupid? Me
That's the
too.
one. And when that feeling, that filter is high, your brain is busy dealing with the stress. It's not focused on learning new things. You can't absorb information when you're anxious.
My brain just shuts down. I could know the word, but my tongue feels tied.
Precisely. Your cognitive resources are all going toward managing the stress. But here's the genius of this B1 lesson. The topic itself, happiness, gratitude, finding peace in simple moments, is inherently positive. It's calm. It's reflective.
It's not stressful. You're not talking about like international politics or something.
Exactly. If we tried to teach this vocabulary using a topic like, say, complex legal theory, you'd be stressed by the content and stressed by the language. But here, the topic itself lowers your anxiety.
So your effective filter just drops.
It drops, and your brain can focus all its energy on processing the new English words and structures. It leads to better memory, better retention. It's just a more efficient way to learn.
Wow. So the topic wasn't just random. Choosing to talk about happiness was a core part of the teaching strategy.
It's what we call the dual mandate. The goal is two things at once. First, build your linguistic skills, your fluency, your confidence, your real-life English.
And second.
And second, at the same time, improve your mindset. It's a win-win. You learn English, and you learn some tools for a less stressful, happier life.
Okay, I love that. So now that we get the strategy, let's get into the story itself. The first idea that really grabbed me was this metaphor, money as a mirror.
Ah, yes. This is such a powerful image, especially for a B1 learner. The idea that we sometimes hold up our bank account or our salary as a reflection of who we are.
A mirror for our success or our worth.
Right. And that's the ultimate comparison trap.
Oh, it's so true. I struggle with this all the time, especially with social media. You're just scrolling and you see someone's, I don't know, amazing vacation photos or their new promotion.
Their perfectly decorated apartment.
Yeah. And suddenly, my own quiet joy, like me just sitting here reading a book, it feels small. It feels inadequate. The mirror is telling me I'm not doing enough.
And that's the exact feeling the lesson is trying to dismantle. Because if your whole identity is tied to something external and fluctuating, like your income, you're always going to feel restless.
You'll always be chasing.
Always. Which is why the lesson states this core idea so clearly for B1 learners. It says, your worth has never been about your income. You are not a number. You are a person.
We have to unpack that word, worth, a bit more. Because in a world that's so focused on jobs and money, it's really easy to confuse your worth with your value.
Explain that distinction. What's the difference?
Well, a company might value my work at, say, $50,000 a year, and I might start to think my personal worth as a human is $50,000. And that's a really dangerous connection to make in your mind.
It's dangerous because it makes your identity conditional. Your worth depends on your job performance.
And what if I lose my job? Does my worth become zero? Of course not. But it can feel that way.
The lesson challenges this by providing a really simple, memorable anecdote. You remember the story about the host's neighbor?
The one who didn't have a lot of money but was always smiling.
That's the one. She grew herbs in small pots, made tea for neighbors, and talked to the postman like he was family.
Her life was simple, but her confidence, the text says, felt richer than any salary.
Exactly. That little story immediately makes the concept of personal worth concrete.
Yep.
It shows the B1 listener that your value as a person is inherent. It's something you have, not something you earn.
Okay, so that's the first big idea. Your worth isn't your salary. Let's move to the next powerful distinction the source makes. Comfort versus contentment.
This is so important. We have to be honest. Money isn't useless, right? It buys something very valuable.
It buys comfort.
It buys comfort. And comfort is a good thing. It's a warm blanket on a cold night. It's a roof over your head that doesn't leak. It's being able to afford a doctor when you're sick.
It removes a certain kind of daily physical stress.
It provides a foundation of security. But here's the subtle, crucial shift in thinking.
Comfort is not the same thing as contentment.
Not at all. The source defines contentment as that quiet feeling of, this is enough. And that feeling, crucially, doesn't come from a shopping cart.
It comes from connection, from simple moments, from being present.
I think this is where a lot of people get stuck. They work so hard to achieve comfort, and they just assume that contentment will automatically follow. But it doesn't.
The source had a perfect story to illustrate this, the luxury hotel versus the tiny studio.
Yes. This is the core metaphor of the whole lesson. We have to break this down.
Okay, so in the luxury hotel, everything was perfect. Polished floors, clean sheets, total quiet. The definition of comfort.
But what did the host feel?
Alone. Restless. The perfection of the room just highlighted the emptiness inside.
The external comfort couldn't fix the internal gap. But then, in the same month, they visited a friend in a tiny little studio apartment.
And the conditions there were not perfect, but they cooked together, they laughed, they shared stories.
And the host slept on a mattress on the floor.
And slept better that night than in the luxury hotel.
It's such a perfect aha moment. It shows that optimal material conditions don't guarantee internal peace. That peace is generated by something else entirely.
By connection. By appreciation.
So the lesson really shifts the central question in your mind. It moves you from asking, what can I buy to feel better?
To asking the much wiser question, what do I already have that makes me feel whole?
Okay, moving on. We have to talk about the forgotten currency. The one thing that connects all of this, our ambition, our stress, our money.
You're talking about time.
The source calls it the quietest form of wealth. I love that phrase.
Me too. Because we treat time like it's infinite, but it's the one thing that is absolutely not.
Every single dollar we earn costs us time. And you can always earn more money. You can never, ever earn back a single hour of your life.
Okay, but let me push back on that for a second, because I'm thinking about our listeners. Many of them are hustling, working 2 jobs, studying English late at night.
They're ambitious.
They're ambitious, and they feel like they have to spend all their time now to build a better future. What does the lesson say to them?
That's a great point. And the lesson isn't condemning ambition. It's condemning blind ambition. The kind of ambition where you just say yes to everything without thinking about the hidden cost.
The opportunity cost. If I say yes to working late, I'm saying no to having dinner with my family.
Exactly. The source's host talks about their own experience with this. They said yes to every project, every opportunity, thinking it was the right thing to do.
But the cost was huge.
The cost was that one day they realized they hadn't actually watched a sunset in months. They were, in their words, present in meetings, but completely absent in my life.
Wow, that hits hard. Present in meetings, absent in life.
And while you're busy chasing more status and more stuff, the quiet, meaningful moments, a slow walk, a deep conversation, they just drift away, and you don't even notice they're gone.
Which leads us right into the final big idea, the question of enough.
The world is always whispering in your ear, more is better.
More money, more followers, more everything.
And the challenge the lesson gives the B1 learner is to pause, to stop running, and to ask a softer, wiser question.
What is enough for me?
I think this is maybe the hardest concept for an ambitious person to accept. We hear the word enough, and we think it means average, settling, giving up.
Yeah, that I'm not trying hard enough anymore.
But the source is very careful to address this. It says enough doesn't mean average. It means peaceful. It means knowing where your personal boundary is. The point where chasing more stops adding joy and starts adding stress and clutter.
So it's about defining success on your own terms, not by society's definition.
That is it, 100%.
Yeah.
The lesson gives this beautiful example of the person with the one-bedroom flat and the secondhand bike.
Who reads poetry and brews their coffee slowly every morning.
That is their version of enough. That person has shifted their priority from chasing status, which fades, to creating time well spent, which becomes a part of who you are.
Okay, that whole narrative it's just so perfectly designed to introduce these big abstract words in a gentle, memorable way.
And now that we have that philosophical context, it's time to get into the linguistic core.
Time for our expansion protocol. We're going to stop and unpack these 5 key words so you can really internalize them.
Let's do it. Let's solidify this lexicon.
First word up is contentment. Okay, so as a B1 learner, I say happy all the time. I'm happy, the movie was happy, happy day. But contentment. It sounds deeper, more serious. What does it really mean?
That's a great question. Contentment is a noun. It's a feeling of quiet happiness and deep peace with what you already have. It's not a big, loud emotion like excitement. It's a sustained state of being.
So it's not the feeling of, like, winning the lottery.
No, it's the feeling of not needing to win the lottery. It's the absence of chasing or craving. It's just
Yeah.
gently and deeply being okay with right now.
I love that definition. Gently being okay. Okay, let's hear it in some different contexts. Give us the 3 examples.
Sure. Number one, a formal example. The simple ceremony, focused entirely on gratitude, filled the participants with a profound sense of contentment.
Okay, so you'd use it in a more academic or official setting.
Right. Number two, a casual example. After a good home-cooked meal and a walk in the park, I always feel a strong sense of contentment.
That's me on a Sunday afternoon. Simple daily peace.
And number three, a funny, weird one. My lazy dog's face shows perfect contentment only when he's lying in a tiny patch of sunshine and ignoring me completely.
Ah, I can picture that perfectly. Okay, let's try it in a role play, a real-life exchange. I'll start.
Go for it.
Hey, I saw you just smiling to yourself on the train this morning. You look so relaxed. What's up? Did you get a big promotion?
Not at all, actually. Nothing big has changed. I just feel a deep sense of contentment today. I finished my work early yesterday. My coffee was perfect, and I got to watch the sunrise without rushing. It's a quiet feeling, but it's really nice.
Wow, so you just found contentment in these little moments? Maybe I need to stop chasing the big wins and just appreciate the small stuff more?
That's a perfect use of the word. So what other words often go with contentment? What are the collocations?
We often say you can feel contentment or you can have a sense of contentment. And the source used quiet contentment and deep contentment a lot to describe the feeling. Got it. Okay, next word, worth. The lesson says your worth is not based on your salary. But how is this different from the word value? I think that's a really important distinction.
It's critical. Worth, in this context, is about your intrinsic personal value as a human being. It means you matter, period. Regardless of your job, your income, your achievements, it's your central quality.
Whereas value is often about money, something you can buy or sell.
Exactly. A product on a shelf has a market value. A person has inherent worth. They are not the same thing.
Okay, I see that. Let's hear the 3 examples.
Number one, formal. The manager emphasized the importance of recognizing the intrinsic worth of every team member, not just their quantifiable output.
So seeing people as people, not just workers.
Right. Number two, casual. Hey, you are a good person. Never let one failed test make you question your personal worth.
That's a good one. Direct encouragement.
And number three, funny weird. Even a badly baked cake has some worth if you're really hungry. But please remember, your personal worth is infinite and much greater than a cake.
I'll try to remember that. Okay, let's do a role play. I'll set up a situation where someone feels like their worth is low.
Ready? I'll be the supportive friend.
Ugh, I worked so hard on that project and the client just rejected it. They gave the job to someone else. I feel like I'm not good enough at this.
Hey, wait a minute. That rejection means you weren't the right fit for that one client at that one time. It says nothing about your true worth as a person or a professional. You are still the same talented, hardworking person you were yesterday.
Thanks. I need to remember that. Separate the business decision from my personal worth.
Exactly. And the key collocations you'll hear are personal worth, true worth, a sense of worth, and intrinsic worth.
Okay, next up is the big one, the philosophical heavyweight. Enough. It's a simple word, but the idea behind it in this lesson is huge. How do we use it to talk about this big idea?
Well, the basic meaning is just sufficient. But philosophically, like the source said, it means not too little, not too much, just right. It suggests knowing your personal boundary, the point where more stuff stops making you happier and just starts adding stress.
But again, for a driven person, saying I have enough can feel like admitting defeat.
And that's the key distinction. In this context, it's not a statement of resignation. It's a statement of appreciation. It means I have sufficient resources and time to live a meaningful life right now.
It's coming from a place of gratitude, not a place of giving up.
Exactly. Let's make that clear with the examples. Number one, formal. After careful analysis, the scientists determined the data collected was enough to finalize the study.
Okay, literal, a sufficient amount.
Right. Number two, casual. I don't need another slice of pizza. One is enough. I'm satisfied.
Daily moderation, knowing when to stop.
And number three, funny weird. At 9 p.m., my couch declared it had worked enough for one day and demanded that I lie down immediately.
I like that one. Okay, let's do a skit about knowing when to stop before you hit. Well, before you hit our next vocabulary word.
Sounds good. You be the one who can't stop working.
Okay, this report is pretty much done, but I could spend another 3 hours making the graphics just a little bit better. What do you think?
Honestly, I think you've done enough. It's already excellent. If you spend 3 more hours on it, the tiny improvement won't be worth the stress and lost sleep. It's good enough.
You're right. I need to learn when to say, this is enough. The chase for perfection is what makes me feel like I never have enough.
Yeah, great use of the different forms there. The key collocations are have enough, is enough, that philosophical statement, good enough, and save enough.
Perfect. Next word, which we almost just said, burnout. This is such an essential word for modern life. It's so high utility for our learners. What's the precise definition?
Burnout is a noun. And it's not just feeling tired. It's a state of extreme emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion caused by pushing yourself too hard for too long.
It's that feeling where you're just depleted. You've got nothing left to give.
And you lose motivation for things you used to enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the direct opposite of contentment. It's often linked to work, but it can be from anything, studying, caregiving, anything.
Okay, let's hear the examples.
Number 1, formal. The company implemented new policies to prevent employee burnout and improve staff retention.
Very businesslike.
Number 2, casual. He said yes to every extra project until burnout hit him hard and he had to take a medical leave.
Describes a serious personal experience.
And number 3, funny weird. She tried to learn all of English in one weekend, which led to a severe case of study burnout by Saturday afternoon.
I think some of our listeners might have felt that one. Okay, skit time. Let's show the symptoms leading up to it.
Okay. You can be the worried friend.
You look absolutely exhausted this week. Are you okay? You seem really stressed out.
I know. I took on too much overtime to save extra money, and I stopped exercising and sleeping properly. I'm afraid I'm hitting serious burnout. The extra cash just isn't worth feeling this awful.
You need to pull back right now. You have to prevent burnout before it gets worse. Your health is more important.
That's a very realistic conversation, unfortunately. The key collocations are prevent burnout, hit burnout, risk burnout, or suffer from burnout.
Okay, last word in this section. Clutter. The source mentions this in our rooms, but also in our minds. How do we use it for both physical and non-physical things?
Clutter is a noun that means too much stuff lying around in a messy, untidy way. And that mess creates a feeling of stress. It applies perfectly to a messy desk, but the lesson uses it metaphorically for non-physical things too.
Like mental clutter.
Exactly. Too many ideas, too many tasks on your to-do list, too many worries. The source says, less clutter, more clarity.
That's a great line. If your mind is full of mental clutter, you can't focus on learning English. Okay, give us the examples.
1, formal. Reducing administrative clutter improved the department's efficiency.
So unnecessary complexity in a system.
Right. 2, casual. I need to clean up the physical clutter on my kitchen counter before I can even think about cooking.
A common weekend problem.
And 3, funny weird. My brain is full of mental clutter from trying to remember 17 different online passwords.
Oh, that is too real. Let's do a skit about mental clutter. I'll describe my packed schedule.
I'll offer the advice.
Wow, I am so stressed. My calendar is completely full of meetings and my to-do list is 3 pages long. My brain feels like chaos.
It sounds like you have a time clutter problem. You need to clear that mental clutter. Go through your calendar and delete any meeting that isn't absolutely essential. Reduce the clutter so you can focus.
That's good advice. Clear the clutter, find the focus.
Perfect. The main collocations are mental clutter, physical clutter, and the most common actions are to clear the clutter or reduce clutter.
Okay, that was an amazing deep dive on the vocabulary. Now let's talk about how the lesson puts those words into sentences that are easy to remember.
Yes, let's talk about the rhetorical structure, because this is how you start to sound really sophisticated when you speak.
You mean that antithetical parallelism thing you mentioned? I'm ready. Teach me the trick to sounding wise.
It's all about that simple, repetitive structure. Money can buy X, but not Y. This structure is the most important teaching tool in the whole lesson. It's deliberate, and it's incredibly effective for your memory.
Why does it work so well? What's the magic behind it?
Well, it sets up a clear expectation and then delivers a surprising but balanced contrast. The two halves of the sentence mirror each other grammatically, which is very pleasing to the human brain.
Like a rhythm.
Exactly. For a B1 learner, it reinforces 3 things at once. First, how to use the modal verbs can and can't. Second, how to use but for contrast. And third, it's a simple comparative sentence structure that's easy to copy.
So because the grammar pattern is predictable, my brain can just focus on the meaning.
Precisely. It can focus on the powerful contrast between the tangible thing you can buy and the intangible feeling you can't.
And the source gave some brilliant examples of this. Let's go through those high contrast pairs again.
They're designed for maximum memorability. First, money can buy a bed, but it cannot buy peaceful sleep.
The object versus the experience. I love that.
Next, money can buy food, but it cannot buy the taste of love at the dinner table.
The ingredients versus the connection.
Money can buy medicine, but it cannot buy perfect health.
The treatment versus true well-being.
And finally, money can buy entertainment, but it cannot buy true joy.
The temporary distraction versus the internal fulfillment. Wow. When you lay them all out like that, the pattern is so clear and so powerful.
And this leads right into the last teaching strategy we need to talk about, abstract language anchoring.
This is about making those big, hard-to-grasp words feel real, right? Words like presence or contentment.
Exactly. Abstract nouns are tricky for learners. So the lesson makes them concrete by using sensory language that appeals to your five senses.
So how did it define happiness using the senses?
It said true happiness lives in things like the quiet hum of the morning, or the smell of the first sip of tea, or the sound of your loved one laughing.
Ah, so you're defining the abstract idea of contentment using a sound, a smell, a taste. Things everyone from any culture can immediately understand and picture in their mind.
It eases the cognitive load. And it brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, providing practical, actionable B1 vocabulary. The language you need to actually apply these ideas in your real life.
Right, because the lesson promises real-life English skills. So it gives you phrases you can use tomorrow.
It breaks the advice down into 3 categories of investment. Not in money, but in your own well-being. First, self-care, with phrases like writing a gratitude note or reading or stretching.
The second was connection, right?
Yes, with functional language like schedule a video call with a friend or attend a local language exchange.
And third was financial discipline, with really practical phrases like automate your savings or prioritize essentials first.
So it's a complete package, a philosophy, a sophisticated sentence structure to express it, and the practical daily vocabulary to put it all into action.
That is a seriously powerful lesson. Okay, speaking of putting things into action, I've noticed a common mistake learners make with our word contentment. Can we do a quick common mistake segment?
Let's do it. What's the mistake?
Okay, so because the adjective content is so common, a B1 learner might try to use it like a noun. They might say something like, I felt a quiet content after dinner. Is that right?
That is a very common mistake. But no, it's not grammatically correct for a native speaker.
Yeah.
Content is the adjective, the describing word. Contentment is the noun, the name of the feeling.
So how should they say it to sound natural? What are the correct alternatives?
There are a few easy ways to fix it. First, you could just use the adjective correctly with a verb like feel or be. So you'd say, I felt very content after dinner.
Okay, I felt content. Got it.
Or if you want to use a noun, you'd say, I felt a lot of contentment.
Ah, a lot of contentment.
A third common way is to say where the feeling came from. For example, I found contentment in small things. Using the noun, contentment is correct in all those cases.
That's a super clear correction. Content is how you are. Contentment is the thing you feel. Perfect.
All right, are you ready? It is time for the pop quiz. Time to test what we've learned.
I am ready. I've been studying. Let's do it.
Question 1. Let's start with a fill-in-the-blank from the core philosophy of the lesson. We spend years chasing more without asking if it makes us blank.
Ooh, that's the core of it all. The answer has to be happier, without asking if it makes us happier.
Correct. It uses that comparative adjective to show the goal we often forget. Okay, question 2. Name the vocabulary word for too much disorganized stuff, both in your room and in your mind.
The word for the mess that blocks clarity, that is clutter.
Excellent. And for the final question, let's test that antithetical parallelism, that special sentence structure. Finish this sentence. Money can buy medicine, but it cannot buy blank.
Ooh, okay. Money can buy medicine, but it cannot buy perfect health. Or, another one, money can buy a bed, but it cannot buy peaceful sleep.
Perfect. You've completely mastered the structure. You are ready to have deep philosophical conversations in English.
That was a fantastic deep dive. Let's quickly summarize the 3 most important words from today for our B1 learners.
Absolutely, they are. Contentment, that quiet feeling of peace. Enough, the wisdom to know when to stop chasing. And burnout, the warning sign that you've pushed too far.
Mastering those 3 words will let you talk about your life and goals with so much more nuance.
And now for your micro challenge. We want you right now to use one of our new words to describe something in your life.
Yes. Say a sentence out loud. It could be, I need to clear the mental clutter before I study, or I have enough time to relax for 10 minutes.
Make it real, make it yours. That's how you activate the vocabulary and really make it stick.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to Mastering English Podcast. We're here to give you the scaffolding you need to reach your goals.
We really hope today's deep dive gave you not only some better English skills, but maybe some better clarity about your own time and your own personal worth.
I'm Alex. See you next time.
And I'm Sam. Bye.